This is the week 14 report for the puppy Dan. Dan doing fine. Don't have a whole lot to talk about today, but one thing I'd like to mention is that I did start working with a cap gun with Dan, the blank gun actually. I prefer I believe it's a 25 millimeter or 25 caliber 6 millimeter crimp pistol, but I can't find mine. I've lent it out over the years, and whoever I lent it out to last evidently didn't give me the gun back, or I put it somewhere and I forgot. That's the problem with old age. But at any rate, I do have a 209 primer pistol. It's a blank pistol that I used to use in field trials, so that was the gun that I got out of mothballs and ran up and got some primers for. You can usually get those in a 100 pack. You don't have to buy 1,000 like you would if you were reloading. Most places will break them down in the hundreds, and they're about $4.50. Like I said, though, I prefer the 25 caliber 6 millimeter crimps, but that didn't work out. Primer's much louder, and you need to use just an extra bit of caution because of that loudness. So basically what I'm doing is I'm taking him outside, getting 50 feet away from Dan, having someone assist me, and that someone that's assisting me is feeding Dan treats, giving him pieces of biscuit, something to just take his mind off of what's going on. Generally, dogs think it's pleasant when they're getting something to eat, especially like a treat that they like. So I got the wife to step outside and feed Dan a few treats, and I popped off around in the pistol, and I observed Dan. Although I'm 50 feet away, I can still see him, and I'm observing him. See what kind of reaction he has. Any kind of adverse reaction. Him running away, him running between that person's legs, him running to you and getting between your legs. Boy, you want to stop immediately. That's not a good sign, and you just want to take a breath back and maybe go back and wait a week or two before you even try it again. But if you get just a flinch, which is perfectly normal, you'll flinch if you hear the gun, even if you're an experienced hunter. The gun going off can make you flinch. So if he flinches and then looks up and continues to eat his treat, then maybe I'll fire, and I did, another round and notice his reaction there. Generally, the flinch will probably be gone, but he's still going to look around, and then continue eating his treat. You're done. You don't want to fire anymore. It's not about firing over and over again or anything like that. It's all about firing, having him get used to the sound, and watching his reaction, observing it, and making a conscious decision that it's not spooking him. So that's what we did. I've done it twice now with him, and it's not something I have to do every day. It's not something I have to do for weeks on end. I'm going to fire it a few times until I get that there's hardly any reaction to the blank. And what you're going to progress to after that, because after you get to that point, you're going to stop. You don't need to fire that blank around him anymore until there's going to come a day where I'm going to be out in the field and I'm going to have planted some birds, maybe a quail or something for the dog, and he's going to get it up and he's going to be in a full chase after that bird probably. As a pup, he'll do that. That's good. You almost want that. You want that desire. And a full chase for that pump, and he's going to be 50 to 75 to 100 feet away from me, and I'm going to pop off around. And I'm going to observe. Does he stop chasing the bird? Does he continue chasing the bird? Does he ignore it completely? One time. That's all I'm going to do that day. And then I'm going to wait. Next time I'm out, a week later or whatever, I'm going to go through the same procedure until I see that he has no reaction. Now, I will mention to you there are people that don't agree with this method. Many people do, but there are people who don't. I had a guy who ran one of the major dog supply companies out of Texas, and he thought that way of doing it was the craziest thing in the world. He believed that until the day the dog points the bird and you flush the bird and you shoot the bird and drop it, that's the first time you shoot around the dog. That is the best policy. I don't agree, and I'm going to tell you why I don't agree. Say you're out doing this, and the dog points the bird, and you flush that bird, and as soon as you pop that shotgun to shoot that bird, a stick pops up and slaps that dog right in the face. I'm guessing you probably got a gun-shy dog. And I'm not willing to take that chance, because if there's anything I've learned, and you will learn in time, is that anything that can go wrong will go wrong with bird dog training. So it's kind of Murphy's Law. You know, anything that can go wrong will go wrong. Plan for it. So my suggestion would be not to get yourself in a situation like that when the first time you ever hear gunfire or an actual shotgun shooting is when there's a bird, because you never know when something negative could happen. Not your fault, not the dog's fault, not the bird's fault. It just happened. Who knows what the reason could be, but if something negative is associated with that first one, you know, it's probably curable, but it may take more time. So my advice would be to slowly introduce the dog to gunfire. Once you've introduced and you see that he can accept it and not be panicked by it, you're done. You don't need to do it anymore. Next time I would do it would be in the field when you get a bird up and he's a good distance from you. Doesn't matter if you shoot the bird, that's not necessary. All you're looking for is reaction. Believe me, when the day comes, when you get a bird up, he points the bird, you get a bird up and you shoot it and drop it, he's going to be fine then. It's the way I've done it for years, and it would be my recommendation. Sounds like I've got a call, so I'm going to get off of here, and we'll see you next week.